What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today we'll be figuring out which medical drama is better, Casualty or Holby City. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to my annual spring special, and this year I wanted to do something Casualty and Holby City related. So I thought about potential ideas for a few weeks, and then I came to the conclusion, you know what? I'm going to do a Casualty versus Holby City video. So in today's video, I'm going to try and find out which medical drama is better. But firstly, a few disclaimers before we get into this video. Firstly, obviously, I have watched Casualty since 2007 and I've watched Holby City since 2010. So obviously, my opinions will probably be very different from people who've watched Casualty since the 80s or Holby City since the 90s. So please bear that in mind. Secondly, this is my opinion. You know, I'm very biased, as is everyone. So this is not the definitive answer. This is just a fun video where I'm just giving my opinions. And thirdly, I've decided to pick out 5 specific categories, which I'm then going to say whether Casualty or Holby City is better in each of those categories, and then we'll get an overall score, and there will be a winner. I've picked out 5 categories specifically so that we won't have a tie at the end, because I think people who do versus videos and then have a tie at the end, it's a bit of a cop-out. So there will be a winner at the end of this video. Now, the first category which I've chosen to speak about is the characters. Now, I've said about both shows, they're only as good as the characters, and to be honest, they both have fantastic characters. In terms of Casualty, which has been running longer, you have iconic characters like Charlie Fairhead, Dylan Keogh. You know, you have really well written and well acted characters in that program. And I think the thing about Casualty that I like is because it's very well structured. You have the doctors, you have the nurses, and then you have the paramedics. So you really do have kind of 3 subsection of characters, and they're all really well done. The paramedics are quite a jokey bunch of characters, which is very real to life, because paramedics usually use comedy in order to distract from all the horrific things they see. The nurses, they're usually a bit more down to earth, and there's always a bit of conflict between the nurses and the doctors. And in terms of the doctors, I've often put the doctors in 2 different categories. You have the really arrogant doctors like Nick Jordan, Adam Truman, Connie Beecham, and then you have the real oddball doctors like Dylan Keogh and Stevie Nash. And I have to be honest, I really like the oddball characters. Dylan Keogh is one of my favourite characters ever. I also really enjoyed Ruth Winters as a doctor, and Stevie Nash has really come up in my estimates in the last year or so. But despite Casualty having some amazing characters, I'm actually going to say that Holby City has better characters. And I think that's purely because every surgeon in Holby feels like a big beast. I love the rivalry between all the consultants in Holby City, because obviously, as it's about the whole hospital, there's a lot of politics involved. There's a lot of backstabbing and people trying to get other people out. I love characters like Henrik Hansen, Jack Naylor, Serena Campbell, Rick Griffin, Michael Spence. The list goes on. I just think that the consultants and the surgeons in Holby City are more interesting characters because they really do come across as people in their prime, and they're prepared to do anything in order to further their own careers. And I think that just results in a lot of great drama. So even though Casualty does have a lot of iconic characters, I'm actually going to give this category to Holby City, because I just think in terms of the characters, the Holby City ones are more memorable. Next, I've chosen storylines, and both shows have fantastic storylines. Holby City storylines, they usually revolve around hospital politics. There's usually a revolving door when it comes to the CEO and the clinical leads of the various wards, and I have to admit, I do find that stuff very fun to watch. It's great drama, because obviously you're always wondering, oh, who's going to backstab who? You know, how long does the CEO have left before he's voted out? So it is very fun drama to watch. Casualty has a lot of variety, but then it's set in an emergency department, so obviously I think that there's a lot more potential for loads of varied storylines. And I have to be honest, as much as I love Holby City and the storylines that they have done over the years, whether that was Jack Naylor's brain tumour storyline, which was a devastating storyline, and various others, I think Casualty storylines, they're usually better. You know, if I just take one series of Casualty, let's just go for series 32. You know, you've got Connie Beecham's cancer storyline, you've got Alicia Monroe's rape storyline, you've got Dylan Keogh's alcoholism storyline, and that's just in one series of Casualty. Now, I'm not saying that Holby City doesn't have great storylines, because obviously it does. You know, to think of a couple which stand out for me, I would say Sasha Levy's mental health storyline and Dom Copeland's domestic abuse storyline. But I would say that Casualty just has more variety there, and they usually go a bit more in depth than Holby City used to. So I am going to give storylines to Casualty, because I just think there's a lot more variety in that show than Holby. The next category is the theme tune. Now, this is an interesting one, because Holby City only had 2 theme tunes. Well, I always think it only had one, because the theme tune they introduced during its final year was pretty bad. I didn't like that theme tune at all. But the Holby City theme tune, it is iconic. I still listen to it to this very day. It's a very catchy theme tune. It makes you really pumped up, ready to watch the drama. Now, Casualty has had various theme tunes over the years. Now, obviously, I started watching it in about 2007, so I grew up with the theme, which ran from, I think, about 2004 until 2012, and I really enjoyed that theme. It was very fast-paced, and it sounded quite full of adrenaline to get you ready for the show. Now, the current theme that they've had since, I think, 2014, I'm not a massive fan of. I think it's good, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike it, but compared to its older theme, I just don't think it has that catch like the old one did. The old one used to really get your adrenaline pumping. This new one, it doesn't really seem to. So I'm going to give the theme tune to Holby City, because I think that Holby City has a more catchy theme tune, a more recognisable theme tune, and they didn't even have to change it a lot, because it was iconic from the word go. The next category is stunts, and this might not surprise many of you, but Casualty are going to win this, because Casualty do a lot more stunts than Holby City does. Don't get me wrong, Holby City, you know, they've had a few fires, they've had a few hostage situations, so they've done their fair share of stunt work over the years, but Casualty, they're just professionals at it. They're amazing at stunt work, and always when it's a stunt involved in an episode, I'm there. I think some of the best episodes of Casualty involve stunt work. If you look at the series 24 premiere, which was in a burning mall, you know, that was a fantastic episode and a lot of stunt work involved. Or the episodes where the ED blows up, once again, very well done stunt work. So I would have to say that, yeah, Casualty wins when it comes to the stunt work. They do a fantastic job every single week. They're very professional, and I honestly think they could win more awards than they have done for their stunt work, because I honestly think it's very impressive and some of the best stunt work I've seen on British TV. And the final category I have chosen is special episodes. Now, Casualty and Holby City have done their fair share of special episodes over the years. And what I mean by special episodes is they're ones which are put forward by the BBC as kind of, oh, you don't want to miss this episode. Usually there's a trailer shown throughout the week for the episode. The writers and production team put a lot of effort into it. So both shows have done various special episodes over the years. If we look at Holby City, they did the hospital shooting, which was very well done. I mean, they felt cinematic in many ways in terms of how much effort was put into the direction and the acting involved. Sasha Levy's mental health episode was amazing, a real eye-opener for male mental health, and I think it's fantastic that Holby City chose to focus on such a taboo issue, because male mental health, it's not focused on as much, because obviously men are not as comfortable open up about their mental health. That's proven to be a fact. So this episode was very well written and well acted by Bob Barrett, who portrays Sasha Levy. And even Holby City's final episode was amazing, a real celebration of the show's history, as well as celebrating the NHS as a whole, which I thought was a really welcomed touch as well. But as much as Holby City have had their fair share of special episodes throughout the years, once again, I think Casualty, they just do it better, especially in recent years. In recent years, Casualty have really tried doing different things. They had that special paramedic episode where there was no real script written, where the actors had to improvise a lot of their scenes. I thought that was very well done, and I thought it was very interesting. So Casualty, they just do a better job with their special episodes, I would say. They're more memorable. You're more willing as a viewer to go and re-watch them because they're interesting. So as much as Holby City does have its fair share of special episodes, I would say that Casualty has better ones. I think they just stand in your mind a lot more. And even Charlie Fairhead's final episode, amazing. One of the best episodes of Casualty I have ever seen. Such a great celebration of that character, and Derek Thompson definitely deserved that after 37 years. So in terms of which show is better, well, let's have a look at the scores. Casualty has 3 points, Holby City has 2 points, so therefore it has been confirmed that Casualty is the better show. Now I enjoy both shows, you know, I love both shows, you know, Casualty and Holby City, they're amazing, you know. Without Casualty, Holby City would not exist. And yes, Holby City was a sister show, it was a spin-off, but I think it grew an audience of its own. It became its own show with its own identity. So both shows, they're just as amazing as the other. Now, I did actually release a poll a few weeks ago saying, you know, which show is better. I thought I'd let my subscribers and viewers have their say. And out of the 22 people that voted, 82% said that Casualty was the better show, and 18% said that Holby City was the better show. So it's very clear that Casualty won my audience, and it's very clear that I decided that Casualty was the better show as well. But I'm not saying that I dislike Holby City. I love both shows. It's just Casualty won this video. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed my spring special. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. And please feel free to comment down below which show you think is better and why. I always love hearing you guys' opinions. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in another one. See ya!